Joining us now from Paris is Jacques Reland. He's a senior research fellow at the Global Policy Institute. Thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World. Now, I understand it's hard to speculate at this point, but what are your predictions? Who is going to be the winner in this presidential race?
It's difficult to say, but I still think Macron will be ahead because up to now, Marine Le Pen has gained a lot of momentum while Macron has lost 5 points in the last 2 weeks. Le Pen has won 5. So, but I think it's because first Macron made a very bad campaign. And also, the only thing that people remember is that he wants to raise the pension age to 65, which is very unpopular in France. 70% of people are opposed to it. Well, at the same time, Marine Le Pen has made a very good campaign. She has managed to concentrate on the cost of living, and which is the main issue. People are no longer worried about the war as such, but they're more worried about the consequences of the war on inflation and their purchasing power, on prices. And she also, Zemmour, the radical far-right candidate, made her appear as if she has much softer, gentler person. But the problem is that her program is very radical. She has the nice image of the woman next door who will look after your cats while you're away or something. She's become quite cuddly. 46% of people in France think she is like us, while Macron has an image of more aloof image, which is damaging. Many people in France hate Macron, many people hate Le Pen, but there's a strong swell of support for her. But it's because she hasn't been challenged on her program. She's only concentrated on the cost of living, but her program on immigration, security, and Europe is as far right as it was before, and it would be very an election of her would be very damaging. That's why I think a new campaign will start in the second round, and Macron will have to focus on the bad sides of her program, especially her attitude to the European Union. She says that she doesn't want to leave Europe, but she's ready to denounce some of the laws, to not respect some of the laws. She wants to cut French contribution to the budget. She wants to install controls on the border. She wants to renegotiate some treaties. So it would be incredibly damaging for the European Union, far more damaging for the European Union than Brexit, because France has managed to establish a leadership role in the EU, thanks to Macron, while Scholz in Germany has replaced Merkel, is not still seen as a political heavyweight. So it would completely undermine France's position and France's vision of Europe. So that would be bad. And on the issue of immigration and Islam, when she's been very quiet about it, you can see during the campaign she even accepted to have a selfie taken with a young woman in a hijab. But if she was elected, she would forbid the wearing of a scarf anywhere in the street, in public transport. She would completely change the law of naturalization in France. She would abandon le droit du sol, the fact that every person born on French soil should be entitled to French nationality, and she would completely she would have a referendum which would undermine the basic principles at the heart of French society, which is equality between all the people, all the citizens. So it would be, it would have strong consequences. And I'm not talking about the economic consequences, because economic program doesn't bear scrutiny. It's full of incoherences. And you would see, as a conclusion, the fact that French interest rates will probably start going up. It would be, I don't think it would be very good for the French economy and the French people who voted for her, hoping that their life would improve. I don't think that would be the case if they do that. But
I just want to pick up on one of the points you mentioned about Marine Le Pen. Now, if she comes into power, of course, Muslims are going to have a much harder time in France. As you say, under her rule, she might completely ban the wearing of hijab, which we need to call what it is, Islamophobia, correct?
Yeah. It is. She's really the feeling. One of the issues at the start of the campaign, promoted by Zemmour, was the issue of identity, immigration, insecurity, and Islam, with the four eyes, which are all linked together in their mind. In the case of Zemmour, it's always. It's an obsession. Marine Le Pen is still obsessed with this issue and with Islam, but at the same time, she said that she respects Islam, but the measures she would take would be very damaging for people, for Muslim people in France wanting to practice their faith peacefully. So
Right.
she hasn't changed. She has a better image now, but don't forget, she's a wolf in sheep's clothing and will be much more so for Muslim people in France.
All right, Jacques Reland, thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.
Okay, thank you.